Well, one of the things that led up to that, because you were asking about technology, and I think by this point it's, you could ask every editor how many systems have they learned, and there's the film, there's the chem, the montage, the Ediflex, the CMX 6000 touch vision, and any of like a whole host of systems. And then there was the Spectra system, which was laser discs, and it was probably one of the really cumbersome systems to learn, but at that time all sitcoms were being done on the system, and it was kind of like this, they were just all being done, and there was no bones about it. And so I learned the system, and so I had that knowledge on my resume, but I had never done a sitcom. And the year before that, I had gone in for an interview for a sitcom, and I remember one of the producers looking at me and saying, "Whoa, what on your resume is a sitcom?" And I said, "Nothing." And I looked around the room at the silent reaction shots of everybody, and I said, "Is that a problem?" I knew immediately it was. And so I got into the pool of interviews to go for Seinfeld, and I thought, there's just no way I'm going to ever get this job because of my past experience. And so I walked in and met Larry David, and I thought, wow, this is really going to be like the most fun ever. And so we just really hit it off in talking about, clothes and just all sorts of other stuff on the show. And I remember Larry saying to me, "What was your favorite episode?" And I said, "Well, Chinese restaurant." And he said, "Well, that was the episode that the network hated the most." And I said, "Wow, what do they know?" And a little while later, he says, "Well, that was his favorite episode." And I thought, well, that's great. We just had this wonderful, wonderful time. And Larry Charles was one of the writers on the show. He asked me one of the best questions I've ever been asked. "If you're so good, why aren't you working now?" I thought, wow, good one. And I actually had something that was just going to start, so I had a good answer for it. And so I left, and 2 days later I get a phone call asking if I wanted to do the show, and I thought, really? And that was it. That was just like a match made in heaven. It was just a great place to be.